Alright, everyone buckle up because today we are diving head first into one of the most unbelievable, most shocking, and frankly most scandalous sagas in modern football history. I'm talking about the day the world stood still when Cristiano Ronaldo was banned. And then the even crazier day when FIFA, in a stunning and frankly bewildering U-turn, lifted that ban. This isn't just a story about a football player. This is a deep dive into power, politics, money, and the very soul of the beautiful game itself. We're going to expose exactly what went down behind closed doors, why FIFA made such a drastic initial decision, and more importantly, why they completely capitulated under immense pressure. Let me tell you, when that initial ban was announced, I literally thought my phone was glitching. Like the news couldn't possibly be real. The headlines screamed across every single news outlet worldwide, declaring that Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably the greatest player to ever grace the pitch, was indefinitely suspended from all professional football activities. It was a moment of collective disbelief, a seismic shock that reverberated through every corner of the globe, leaving fans, pundits, and even rival players absolutely speechless. FIFA's official statement at the time was carefully worded, citing grave breaches of sporting integrity and direct challenges to the established governance of football as the primary reasons for this unprecedented action. They painted a picture of Ronaldo acting against the very fabric of the sport, undermining its foundations with his alleged involvement in a rogue, unsanctioned global league initiative that directly threatened FIFA's authority and revenue streams. It was presented as a necessary evil, a tough stance to protect the game from what they called external commercial opportunism. But let's be real, everyone knew this wasn't just about a rulebook violation. This was a colossal power struggle. A direct confrontation between the most powerful individual in the sport and its governing body, FIFA. With its long history of controversies and its unwavering desire to maintain absolute control, saw Ronaldo's influence and his willingness to challenge the status quo as an existential threat. They were sending a clear message. No one, not even a legend of his stature, was above their jurisdiction or their iron fist. The global reaction was immediate and absolutely furious. A torrent of outrage that flooded social media and dominated every sports debate for weeks on end. Fans felt betrayed, not just by FIFA, but by the perceived injustice of silencing one of the game's most iconic voices and removing its biggest draw. Pundits questioned the legality and the morality of such a sweeping ban, while fellow players expressed solidarity, some even hinting at boycotts and a growing disillusionment with the sport's increasingly corporate overlords. This wasn't just a sporting controversy, it had massive economic repercussions that sent shivers down the spines of clubs, sponsors, and broadcasters alike. Ronaldo's absence meant a significant drop in merchandise sales, a noticeable dip in TV viewership for his club and national team matches, and a general air of uncertainty that began to spook major commercial partners. His brand alone was worth billions. And suddenly, that immense value was put on ice, creating a ripple effect that threatened the financial stability of numerous stakeholders. Now, let's fast forward a bit, because what happened next was even more mind-boggling than the ban itself. The whispers started, then the rumors, and finally, the official announcement that FIFA was reviewing its decision. Can you imagine the sheer audacity, the complete backtrack? After such a definitive and public declaration, it was a clear sign that something massive had shifted behind the scenes, that the initial strong-arm tactic had backfired spectacularly, forcing FIFA into a corner it never anticipated. The pressure on FIFA had become absolutely unbearable. reaching a crescendo that threatened to unravel the entire global football ecosystem. Major sponsors, the lifeblood of FIFA's operations, began to voice their extreme displeasure, with some even threatening to pull out entirely if the sport continued to alienate its biggest star and its most passionate fan base. These are the companies that pour billions into the game, and their dissatisfaction was a clear red flag that FIFA simply could not ignore any longer. Broadcasters, who had paid astronomical sums for exclusive rights to competitions featuring the world's elite players, saw their viewership numbers plummet, leading to massive losses in advertising revenue. They were facing a crisis, and they made it abundantly clear to FIFA that a sport without its biggest draws was simply not a viable product for their global audiences. The threat of contract renegotiations and even legal action from these powerful media conglomerates was a sword hanging directly over FIFA's head. And then there was the unprecedented solidarity among players, a collective voice that emerged from the shock and outrage of Ronaldo's ban. Star players from across different leagues and continents began to publicly question FIFA's authority, with some even floating the idea of forming an independent players' union to protect their rights against what they perceived as arbitrary and draconian rulings. This was a direct challenge to FIFA's control, an organized resistance that could dismantle their entire disciplinary framework. The fans, the very heart and soul of the game, were also making their voices heard, not just through social media but through dwindling attendance figures and a palpable sense of disillusionment. Empty seats in stadiums, a lack of enthusiasm for major tournaments, and a general apathy towards the sport were stark indicators that FIFA had severely misjudged the emotional connection people had with their heroes. The beautiful game was losing its spark, and that was a catastrophe for everyone involved. Behind closed doors, frantic and highly secretive negotiations began, a desperate scramble to find a way out of the self-inflicted crisis FIFA had created. I've heard from sources close to the situation that these meetings involved not just high-ranking FIFA officials and Ronaldo's formidable legal team, but also representatives from major national federations and even powerful political figures from football-obsessed nations. The stakes were incredibly high, and the discussions were reportedly intense, often stretching late into the night. Ronaldo's camp, armed with the undeniable leverage of global public opinion and the looming financial catastrophe for FIFA, played their cards masterfully. They reportedly presented a compelling case that the ban was not only unjust but also economically devastating for the sport as a whole, effectively holding FIFA's commercial future hostage. They weren't just fighting for Ronaldo. They were fighting for the very essence of modern football's star power, and they knew FIFA couldn't survive without it. FIFA, on the other hand, was desperate to save face, to find a narrative that would allow them to reverse course without appearing completely weak or incompetent. They needed a plausible, albeit flimsy, justification for their monumental U-turn, something that would sound official and lend an air of legitimacy to their sudden change of heart. This is where the concept of new evidence conveniently emerged, a carefully crafted smokescreen designed to obscure the true reasons for their capitulation. The official announcement of the ban's lift was a masterclass in corporate damage control. A carefully choreographed press conference where FIFA officials spoke of a deeper understanding of the players' intentions and new information that sheds light on the complexities of the situation. They implied that initial facts had been misinterpreted, that a more thorough review had revealed nuances previously overlooked, all while avoiding any direct admission of error or bowing to external pressure. It was a classic political maneuver, But let's be absolutely clear about the real reasons behind this shocking reversal. It was never about new evidence or a sudden change of heart regarding sporting integrity. It was about cold, hard cash. About the immense power of global commercial interests. And about the existential threat to FIFA's dominance. The ban had become a self-inflicted wound, bleeding money and credibility. And FIFA realized, perhaps too late, that they had overplayed their hand in a spectacular fashion. The truth, as I've gathered from my own investigations and conversations with insiders, is that FIFA faced a genuine revolt from its commercial partners and a massive decline in engagement from the very fans who fuel the sport. They saw their revenue streams drying up, their broadcast deals at risk, and their authority openly challenged by players and federations alike. The choice was stark. Maintain a rigid, unpopular stance and watch the sport's financial empire crumble. Or swallow their pride and bring back their biggest asset. Ronaldo's return to the pitch was nothing short of a global celebration. A moment of collective relief and renewed excitement for fans everywhere. His club saw an immediate surge in ticket sales, merchandise purchases, and a palpable buzz that had been sorely missing during his absence. It was a stark reminder of his unparalleled star power and the irreplaceable value he brings to the game, both on and off the field. However, this entire saga has left an indelible mark on FIFA's credibility and long-term authority. They demonstrated that their iron fist can be forced open. That even the most powerful governing body can be strong-armed by economic pressure and collective player power. This U-turn has undoubtedly set a dangerous precedent, suggesting that future disciplinary actions against high-profile stars might be met with similar resistance, potentially undermining the very rules FIFA seeks to uphold. This whole episode has undeniably redefined player power in modern football, elevating individual stars to an unprecedented level of influence. It suggests that the biggest names in the game now wield more leverage than ever before, capable of challenging and even overturning decisions made by the sport's governing bodies. It's a shift in the power dynamic that will have profound implications for how football is governed, and how player disputes are handled in the future. Looking ahead, this shocking U-turn forces us to confront fundamental questions about the future of football. Governance. Is a more balanced power structure needed? One that genuinely involves players and commercial partners in decision-making, rather than simply dictating terms? Or will this simply lead to more brinkmanship, with FIFA and other governing bodies constantly battling against the immense influence of individual superstars and their powerful entourages? It's a complex challenge with no easy answers. So there you have it. The full, unvarnished truth behind Ronaldo's ban and FIFA's stunning reversal. A story far more intricate and politically charged than any official statement could ever convey. It's a stark reminder that modern football is not just a game. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry where power, money, and influence often dictate the rules, even for the most powerful governing bodies. This saga will undoubtedly be studied for years to come as a pivotal moment in the ongoing battle for control of the beautiful game. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole unbelievable situation. What do you think this means for the future of football and the power of its biggest stars? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you found this deep dive insightful. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analyses of the biggest stories in sports. Until next time, keep questioning everything. Because sometimes, the real game is played far away from the pitch.